It's like, for instance, Michael is one of my old students. When I started, Michael was in second grade, I think. Yeah, he was second grade. And, or maybe he was third. No, I think you were second grade. And I did like the scariest of scary Halloween parties, and everyone cried. And then I got hired because I had basically done the soundtrack and a bunch of scary events for Halloween. So I guess that's the qualifications for my job. You need to scare the crap out of kids. If you can do that, then you're well suited for my job. Mind you that these kids are usually between 6 and 10 years old, but that doesn't matter, that just makes them easier to scare. And the worst part is I'm not even kidding. I mean, that is literally how I got my job. Scare the pants off, well, not pants, that's just inappropriate. Scare the crap out of a bunch of kids. And then you get a job. Because your boss is even more... Can I say sadistic? I can say sadistic. I mean, what are the odds of anyone ever hearing this that are related to my workplace? Yeah. So, sadistic boss hires crazy dude that makes scary stuff. Actually, one of my plans for next year's Halloween is to try to find a television that is flat and we can hang it on a wall. And then one of our substitutes, she will then be recorded on a camera, and she'll be kind of like a mirror, not a mirror, a painting. And, you know, we'll do some graphic effects on her image in the television and add some scary noise and stuff. So, you know, every X seconds she'll spin her head around and look real scary. And obviously we'll mount this television somewhere in a hallway just to scare the crap out of these kids. Because that's basically what I do at Halloween. You know, I scare kids. I don't aim to make a party that's fun for them. I just aim to make it scary enough that they'll cry. No. But it's kind of a hard balance, because you have kids that are like, my dad lets me watch the scariest of scary stuff, and then nothing scares these kids. And then you've got other kids that are like, oh noes, it's 6 p.m. It's dark outside. And then they just start crying, and, you know, Halloween's over for them. It's like, game over. Do not pass, go home and stuff. You know, they're just gone. And you can't please everyone. So I think we just kind of aimed at making a Halloween party that scares the crap out of the kids. And they seem to love it. As far as I know, we've only really traumatized one kid. And that was at the first Halloween party ever. I wasn't there to see the kid being all super scared, but my sister worked there, and she was like, one of the kids is in a corner, crouched in a kind of fetal position, rocking back and forth. Can I get some backup in here? And the kid was picked up by her parents, and apparently she was so scared that her parents decided that her kid brother was not allowed at our Halloween parties. And her kid brother was 3 years younger than her, so yeah, those were that was bad. That was probably a bit too scary. But then again, I also think that you know, maybe she was, ooh, take cover, hide, Loki hiding thing. Maybe it was just a bit, I don't know. We didn't know what we were doing. It was good fun, yeah. The thing is, though, we use older students to help us scare the kids. Sometimes these older students forget that they were kids once as well, and they kind of overdo it. Last year, I basically had an event in the book depository, which is a cellar, and this cellar is dark, but you know, it needed to be darker. So I basically covered it in dark plastic bags, the walls. I turned it into a kind of a small labyrinth, and basically hid myself in the bottom of this place with some of the older students to help me out as well. And they would they would basically jump out and scare the kids if they got too close. It was supposed to be an insane asylum, and that was basically the cellar where the craziest of crazy insane asylum prisoners, patients were kept. And I was at the bottom there wearing a white wig and a white straight jacket and a white mask, kind of, like a face mask. It's a bit like, I guess it was a hockey mask, like the one that Jason's wearing. And then I'd given one of these white masks to all of the kids that were down there helping me be monsters. So, imagine it's all black, and then you see these white clad evil people standing around. Um, Usually there's like 10 people in a group, and some of the groups came down with one kid because the rest were so scared they stayed outside. It was like, that was massively entertaining because even the adults were scared, They totally didn't expect it. Because the way that we had designed it, they needed to go to the bottom of this labyrinth, which was very linear. It wasn't really a labyrinth. It just felt like it. It had a couple of dead ends, but you couldn't really get into these dead ends. So, they'd move forward, get to the point where I was, and then I'd turn the lights on and act all crazy. They would pick up the thing they needed to pick up and then run out of the cellar. And that was basically the cue for all of my my little helpers to pop out of the walls. Basically, I'd made sure that the black plastic bags were a little, like, there was space behind the bags so that they could hide and then pop out and stick their arms out when when the group was ready to try to leave. So imagine they're panicking and trying to flee from me, and I wasn't even moving. I was just like, "Who dares enter my bloody blah place?" And they'd start running. And then on the way out, hands would stick out of the walls and touch their faces and stuff. That was fun. I mean, actually, I didn't even get to see it myself, but they told me it was fun. I could only hear the screaming. And some of them were like, they were really, really running. They were so scared. So yeah, that's kind of our big thing where I work. That's it's the Halloween party. And there are still people who are like really, really boring. They're like, Halloween is an American thing. We shouldn't celebrate that here in Denmark. And I'm like, who cares if it's American? It's a lot of fun. For all I care, we could do like all different kinds of holidays. It's all about having fun and, widening your horizon. Or getting a heart attack, whichever comes first. Or both. I don't know, I think it's a lot of fun, to have these parties and dress up and be silly. Obviously, I'm probably being more silly than anything else when we're doing these things. Silly and scary. But yeah. Good times were had in those days. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, it won't be long before we actually start planning the next Halloween party. Which is in, I guess, the end of October. The end of October is when little children will lose their sleep. And evil Ailey will be scary and stuff. I don't know what I'm going to be dressed like. One of my all-time favorite Halloweens was when I was dressed up like a white werewolf, and I basically spent so much time designing my own costume. Like, I'd cut out holes in a pair of jeans and sewn in pieces of white fur so that it looked like I had a tail sticking out, and my fur slash skin was bursting out of the jeans and the shirt that I was wearing. So it looked like a really bad, nasty werewolf. And then I was wearing a full face mask thing with fur and everything. So it was a lot of fun running around in the schoolyard howling at the kids. They were terrified. And we basically tried to make it so that, you know, you always have a safe zone. And the safe zone was basically silver. Every team of kids would have a long rope which we had painted silver, and we would just tell them, you know, this rope is silver. It's gonna scare away the werewolves. And, you know, use the cross, that'll help too if you find any vampires. And it's just, these kids were so terrified that, you know, whenever they saw a werewolf like 50 to 100 meters away, they would just pull up these crosses and the silver and they just yell, "Go away, werewolves, go away!" And some of them would start crying. Obviously, those were the ones that we went for, but yeah. Um, it was so crazy. And I remember one of the events that I was basically the main character of was a classroom where we'd knocked over all the tables and the chairs, and this werewolf, which was me, was basically sleeping on the floor in the middle of this classroom, and the students had to sneak into the classroom and cut a few pieces of fur off of my character's hide or skin or whatever. And they were scared. I mean, I could see what was going on outside my mask, but they couldn't really see my eyes or where I was looking. So I would basically see whenever they were approaching, I would kind of fidget a little bit and move around and snore, and sometimes I'd talk in my sleep just to kind of make them feel uneasy. And that was a lot of fun. I mean, that was really sort of an event where... Oh, crap, I need to move. There we go. That was an event where I felt like this is a memorable character. Because some of the other years we've had characters that weren't really that memorable. You know, we'd had like zombies and whatnot, but the kids couldn't really say, "You remember that scary thing or the monster or the Viking boss or whatever." So I really like when we do these events. I like it when we have a memorable character, even if he's a bad guy. It's, I don't know, it's just kind of cool to design these kind of characters. And yeah, I've probably showed you that picture, Michael. Probably have. Okay, I just noticed the clock. It is now 1 minute to 10, and my inventory is full. Excellent timing. So I'm going to press B, teleport back, and I managed to do that before I got attacked. I'm going to teleport back, and I'm going to log off for today and get some sleep, because tomorrow I have a really long shift, and after that I have some family stuff that I need to attend to. So, I'll see you guys next time I stream. Might be in the weekend, no guarantees yet. But, as always, thank you very much for watching. It's been a pleasure. And I hope you guys have a great evening. Take care.